gatekeeper, that's a normal human reaction to say, yeah, sure, how can I help you? Because as a human being, we want to help people. It's just part of our DNA for the most part. But that simple exchange has helped you create a two-way dialogue with that potential client or with the gatekeeper to get you to that prospect. You're not like all the other salespeople who call with the canned phrase, hi, my name is, I am with, and what we do is, or the reason why I called was. Now, once they ask you, sure, how can I help? You're going to proceed with the actual problem statement that leads into how what you do helps other people. Now, let me give you an industry-specific example here. So in this example, let's say that you're a marketing agency. Maybe you train companies how to have better marketing through strategy, or maybe even sell leads. Okay, it doesn't really matter, okay? So you're gonna list one or two problems clients have in regard to generating leads or marketing. You're not gonna talk about your solutions yet at the beginning of a cold call. Instead, you're gonna find out if they have problems and find out if you can help them. So you're gonna say something like this. After they say, sure, how can I help? You're gonna say this. Well, I'm not quite sure if you're the person I should be talking to, but I called to see if you guys would be opposed to looking at any possible hidden gaps, like in your marketing angles that you're using, that might be causing you to lose sales that you could be making. Now, in this example, let's say that you got a hold of the actual decision maker or who you thought is a decision maker, a C-level executive, okay? And they said, sure, how can I help you? Or sure, what's this all about? Or sure, how can I help you? Well, and I'm not quite sure if you're the person I should be talking to. I called to see if your company would be opposed to looking at any possible like hidden gaps, like in your marketing angles that you guys use now, that could be causing you to lose sales that you could be making. Are you responsible for looking at, or who should I be talking to? Now, do you think that they might be interested, or at least a little bit curious about hidden gaps in their marketing angles that's causing them to possibly lose sales? More than likely, it is going to trigger curiosity. Okay, now let me give you a few additional examples. Let's say in this example that you're a business consultant that comes in and builds out systems and operations to SMB business owners to help them onboard new hires and keep their employees functioning at a high level that reduces employee turnover. Let's say that's what you sell, that's what your solution is, okay? Here's how that might look. This is the actual problem statement, not the first part of it. Well, I'm not quite sure who I should be talking to, but I called to see if you guys would be opposed to looking at any possible hidden gaps like in your systems and your onboarding that might be causing you to lose some of your high-level employees. Should I be talking to you, or who should I be talking to about that? See how I'm doing that? Now in this example, let's say you're a financial advisor and you're tasked to call a bunch of high net worth investors. Seems scary, right? Not if you have the right skills. So after that opening, when they say, sure, how can I help you? Or sure, how can I help you? Well, I called to see if you guys would be open at your company to looking at any possible hidden gaps like in your portfolio that your company's been investing with that might be putting some of your capital at risk. Should I be talking with you, or who should I be talking to about that? See how that works? Okay. Now in this example, let's say you sell auditing services for business owners and account managers, okay? So at the beginning of that, after that opening, they say, sure, how can I help you? You're going to say this. Well, and I'm not quite sure who I should be talking to, but I called to see if you guys would be opposed to looking at whether any department within your company might be losing revenue due to vendors overcharging you. Should I be talking with you about that, or who should I be talking to? Now notice how these problem statements are focused on what? Problems that any prospect can identify with, as opposed to the salesperson's agenda, as opposed to the salesperson's solution. Remember, it's not about you in the beginning, it's about them and what they're looking for. And notice the key phrase used in NEPQ, would you be opposed to? Now, why would I use would you be opposed to rather than would you be open? Okay, because once again, we want to use techniques that what? Work with human behavior. And what is the one word that human beings have been conditioned to want to say to any salesperson they do not know, cold calling them, that they have no idea who is and is interrupting their already hectic day? It's the word no. The word no, right? They already want to say no. So when I say, are you opposed to looking at any possible hidden gaps, it's hard for them to say, yes, I'm opposed. Okay, they're going to say, no, I'm not opposed. What do you have? All right. When you do this, you're going to notice if you have the right tone that 7 or 8 out of 10 will say, no, I'm not opposed. What questions do you have? Or no, I'm not opposed. What do you have for me? Okay? And then you're right into that conversation, all right? Or they'll say, who is this? Or what does your company do exactly? And at that point, what should you do or say? Well, you would go right into your personalized intro that we talked about a couple of trainings ago. Personalized intro, 2 to 3 generic problems that they can identify with and how what you do solves those. And then you're going to go right in to your situation questions. Now, what do you do after the problem statement when they say, who is this again? Or what's this all about? Because you're going to get that reaction a lot. Who is this again? Or what's this all about? Or what do you mean by hidden gaps? That's typically the responses you're going to get from that, okay? Then you're going to say this because you want to, what? Trigger them to let their guard down. So you have to disarm them. You say this, oh, yeah, John, I apologize. I didn't mean to offend you. And guess what? They're going to say, oh, you didn't offend me. Oh, I apologize. I didn't mean to offend you. Oh, no, you didn't offend me. I just didn't know what it was about. Okay? See, once again, we want to work with human behavior rather than work against it. If you're in an argument and you say, oh, I apologize. I didn't mean to offend you. Almost every time, what will they say back? Oh, you didn't offend me. See how we're getting them to pull you in rather than trying to push them forward. So much easier to engage prospects at that point. You see how we're getting the prospect to pull us in rather than try to push or force them to want to listen to us? It makes selling so much easier for both you and the prospect. Okay? I'll see you in the next training.